Hi everyone, welcome on board to Helper.tv.
It is no longer news that the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, decided to take steps. And we all know that this was coming. When I spoke about this prior to the election, a lot of people said it is not true. He might not want to do this. I know that the first step that Bola Ahmed Tinubu was going to take was to deal with no other than Emefiele. Emefiele and certain groups of people join hands together to truncate, to disrupt, to crush Bola Ahmed Tinubu's chance at taking a shot at the presidency. They did all of that. He knows. And one will wonder why this happened. Now, let us look at it on two sides. Let us just look at it and balance it up. Shutting down Naira at that time created a situation where Nigerians went through a lot of hardship. Emefiele and his own family and those who have enough, people who have stolen enough, did not go through this crisis at all. That is one. Two, doing this at that particular time disrupted a lot. Now, I'm not talking about those who will go around giving out cash, doling out cash, buying people's conscience. I'm talking about the logistics of elections in general. It was difficult. It was so hard. But anyhow, the election went through. Nigerians did what they did. And finally, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared the winner. But Emefiele smiled and shook hands with Tinubu, thinking that all is well. Of course, he knows that all is not well. And before then, too, Emefiele already had issues with the legislators who claimed that Emefiele did some criminal activities with certain groups of people, and DSS wanted to arrest him. It took efforts of certain individuals to, protect him. But Buhari is gone. Emefiele needs to face the next. And according to Omoyele Sowore, he said this. He said something that I want us to take into consideration. This is what he said. He said DSS reportedly picked up and detained Governor of Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele. In an ideal society, his main accomplice in the military, Chief of Defense Staff, ICDS, General Lucky Irabo, should be arrested and tried with Emefiele. Of course, not leaving out former President Buhari as well. Now, when Emefiele came back from the UK with his rendezvous down to the US, back and forth, when he came back, he was about to be arrested. But he had to call certain groups of people who he has done certain things favors for, like Lucky Irabo, who sent in the military to escort him all the way from the airport down to his office and to his home. And he had that short period of protection. But now his case file has been opened. The first step Bola Ahmed Tinubu took was to first detain him. They took off those, security around him, and the next thing they did was to crush and take him off from his office. Crush his career. And now he's going to answer questions. You see, they know within themselves it's not about persecution. It's also about how unclean many of them are. Even Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself is not clean. Majority of them are not clean. So when you as a sinner decide to go against another sinner, unfortunately for you, if that sinner is at the position of power, holding on to power and authority, you're on your own. That is just what is being played out right here. I'm not saying that majority of them will not be dealt with. I'm not saying so, but it depends. And now Nigeria should begin to gun for certain individuals who were in the previous government, who stole, who have done terrible things, should be dealt with. Let us do this holistically. Let us deal with every of these individuals. He has questions to answer. He needs to go to the court. There are certain decisions that he had made. There are a lot of money that disappeared. The joint account that the Unity account that the government came up with, saying everything should come into this account so we can track and trace where are some of this money. These are questions that I think Emefiele will have to answer right now. He knows that even if he decides to run out of Nigeria, he will be facing a lot. Now, I'm going to now drop something that will shock a lot of you. You see, Emefiele was suspended, detained over $1 billion transaction that is allegedly linked to Dangote. Yes, you hear Dangote refinery, Dangote this, Dangote that. Yes. We are talking about $1 billion. This is a shocking development. The Nigerian federal government suspended the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele, and according to sources, Emefiele was arrested in Lagos by the Department of State Services on June 10th and flown to Abuja for questioning, which the security agency has confirmed. The suspension is tied to a staggering $1 billion scandal that unfolded just before the presidential inauguration. These guys decided to clear account. They decided to do more before the end of the tenure. These guys are crazy, To him, anything that wants to happen, let it happen. I will face the drum, but the money will not be released. Well, as it is, $1 billion from Afrexim Bank on April 24, 2023, after the elections during preparations for the May 29 inauguration, this money disappeared. Shockingly, within 2 days of receiving the money, $750 million was swiftly transferred to Aliko Dangote Dubai account using Form A. It is alleged that the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu was kept in the dark about this transaction. Sources within the CBN claim that Emefiele sold dollars to Dangote at an unbelieving low rate of 445 naira to the dollar. $1 billion was received from Afrexim Bank into CBN's JP Morgan account on April 24, 2023, out of which $750 million was immediately transferred to Dangote Blue Star Dubai account within 2 days using the Form A transaction, bypassing the requirement of a letter of credit. Now, you see how these guys roll. Dangote, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do right now? Is Dangote also going to be arrested? Is Dangote going to say, no, I'm just simply a businessman who seeks for favors? What exactly is going to happen? Is Dangote going to return that money? Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to make sure that all of these dots are, dotted right, T's are crossed, so that we can get to that point where corrupt people, wicked people, evil people will all be brought to book. Yes, regardless, all of them will be brought to book. Then Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself, whatever it is that he has done, there will also be somebody, although he has immunity now, that's another clause that has been placed. He also, after his time as president, either 4 years or 8 years, should also be dealt with by another person who is going to come to clean. That is how it's supposed to be. There is no one that is sacred. Let us be very sincere. Majority of them are criminals. They are all criminals. So right now, Emefiele is being questioned by the Department of State Services, DSS, as regards huge amount of money that has disappeared under his watch, and this 1 billion transaction, that majority of it is linked to Dangote. So Dangote took this big amount of money for his refinery and whatever it is that he's doing, $750 million. This is not cheap fee. This is a lot of money. Whilst the rest of this money, in millions of dollars, has disappeared. And of course, we know where this money has gone to. This money has been shared around them, and a chunk of it, the remaining part of the money is obviously in the account of Mr. Emefiele. Emefiele knows how to hide money. Emefiele knows how he used his office definitely to siphon money, to launder money, to loot, to do a lot of terrible things. And this is what majority of them do. They steal so much money that will last generation unborn. I'm talking about, just imagine generation to generation of unborn children, concubines, whatever. This is what these guys do. What are your thoughts as regards this one new development? Do you think Bola Ahmed Tinubu is working or not? Drop your comment, like and share, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next update.
I say a very big thank you to those who have taken time to subscribe to this channel. And if you're yet to subscribe, kindly tap on that subscription button and also the red bell icon so you will be notified whenever videos such as this are uploaded.